I don't even know where to start. I had so many things I was writing down during the game, during the first half and early on in the second half. I kept thinking to myself, maybe I'm being too negative. I'm being too critical because I'm saying all this negative shit. I was writing down a lot of things I was seeing that I wasn't liking. And I'll go through them in a sec. But I kept thinking maybe I'm being too negative because I'm saying all this, and we're winning 2-0. Like they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're winning the game, and it looked like they were gonna win the game. So maybe I'm being too critical, but no, they just had to go and fucking prove me right. The international break gave me a lot of time to think. It gave me a lot of time to sit and analyze where we were as a football club. It gave me a lot of time to overthink as well. Like I was overthinking a lot of shit because obviously we came off the international break with that 1-0 loss against Real Sociedad. The fact that we lost without Lamine, and the only other game in the league that we lost this season it was without Lamine as well. It made me kind of worried because Lamine's 17. Like Lamine is a baby. Like his body is not ready to play week in week out, and I don't want him to play week in week out because if he does, eventually he's not gonna last. Like he will get injured. I don't want another Ansu Fati situation. I want him to take care of his body, but I also don't want to have to give away seasons for that early on in his career. And I'm not saying this is the end of the season because we've lost this game, and obviously I'm not saying that. And I also wasn't saying that we'd already won the fucking treble, like a lot of people were saying, when we had such a great start. Because you can't overreact. You can't overreact to a good first 3-4 months, and you can't overreact to a bad couple games. You can't. But I was thinking to myself a lot this international break that we can't play without Lamine. Like we really can't. It's really, really obvious the difference when he's in the team and when he's not. And it's not just going forward, like what he brings, like creating chances and stuff like that. It's none of that. I mean, obviously we're missing that as well, but Rafinha creates a lot of chances. Dani Olmo today, when he came to the middle, because he started off on the left and he wasn't great there, but when he came to the middle, he created a lot of chances. Pedri, we have playmaking players. That wasn't my problem. Lamine is just basically perfect in possession. Like he rarely ever makes a mistake. You give him the ball and you trust him with your fucking life. Like that is, for me, that's Lamine's best attribute. It's not his goal scoring. It's not his playmaking. Well, it might be his playmaking, but that's one of his biggest attributes. That you can give him the ball and you can trust him. He's not gonna lose it. He's either gonna draw a foul or pick a perfect pass, or 9 times out of 10 he will do the right thing. And we miss that the most when he's not there. It's so obvious that we don't have the same control of the game as when he is. In the first half, we weren't controlling the game. Like the goal was very good. Rafinha made a great run as he always does. Great finish. Like we created chances as well, but we weren't controlling the game like we usually do. In the first half especially, there was a lot of things that I didn't like. Gerard Martin at left back, anytime he plays, doesn't fill me with confidence. I love giving academy kids a chance, and I love that Hansi Flick believes in him and all that, but right now I don't believe in him. He hasn't shown me anything that would make me believe in him, because every time he plays, he looks like he tries. He looks like he chases the ball. He runs a million miles, and that's great, but his decision making is not there right now, and that was very obvious in the first half today. Lewandowski again in the first half, horrible. Not because he wasn't scoring like that. That's not all Lewandowski does, and that's the thing. Anytime he dropped deep to play passes, to play touches, to pick the ball up, it was the wrong choice. Like he would make the wrong choice. There was one very specific play that I remember that he could have played in Rafinha. He would have been 1-on-1, and he just held the ball. He held it. I don't know why. And then he held the ball, went around to just run into 2 people, lost it. He did that 2 or 3 times in the first half, and it cost us. Obviously, when we go 2-0 up, and then he scores the goal, like you think, okay, well, that's forgiven because now the game's done. But clearly it wasn't. It's football. You can't 2-0, 3-0. You can't ever switch off. And if you have chances like that in the first half, when you're putting pressure, when you had runs of momentum, you had to take them. And Lewandowski made a couple really bad choices. Dani Olmo as well. Some really bad touches. There was a good 5-10 minute stretch. Every time he touched the ball, he was losing it. Maybe because he was left out on the left, where is not his natural position, and that's fine. But he came in the middle, did better. Okay, but when we have injuries like this, we're gonna need players that are supposed to be more versatile, like Dani Olmo, like Rafinha, like Gavi, to fill in those spots and do a job. Dani Olmo in the first half was not doing a job. I'm sorry. And again, this is not me overreacting. It's not me calling Dani Olmo Lewandowski shit. This is just me saying what I saw today. Because I don't like that we brush these losses that we've had under the rug. Even the Monaco game in the Champions League. The fact that we got a red card so early. The fact that after Lamine's goal, we couldn't pick ourselves back up and and go and win that game. Even with 10 men, if we were really the best team in the world, which we've been claiming to me included, we've been claiming to be the best team in the world, we should be winning games like that. To me, the only bright spark in that first half was Rafinha. Rafinha had a great first half. The way I wrote it down was efficiency masterclass. Like, every touch he took was with a purpose. Every run he made was with a purpose. He made the right run almost every time. That's the thing about Rafinha. He won't look as flashy all the time as Lamine does. He won't look as clinical as Lewandowski does sometimes, but he's running all the time. He's pressing all the time at the right time. He makes the right decisions. He makes the right runs. When he gets his chances, you will finish them like he did with the goal. Rafinha had an amazing first half. And to be honest, Gavi played well. I'm trying to think of other players I can praise in the first half because it wasn't great. Like, this is what I'm saying. It wasn't great. And it looked like we were going to get the 3 points anyway. And then I would have had to stay quiet, which I don't like doing when we win. Because if I see something that's wrong, I like to say it, but then people call me too negative. So I was going to be quiet. But after those last 10 minutes, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. Because this thing with Lamine that we can't play without him, this is not something that is new. Like, I've been saying this. Why do we rely on our winger for control of games? Like, why is it that we don't have someone in midfield that can do that? Like, surely Pedri, you can give him the ball and you can trust him to not lose it. You can trust him to control the game. Marc Casado, he's supposed to be that type of... But no, when we're actually in trouble... I promise, please go look at any games this season. Anytime we've had any pressure put under us, who does the ball go to? It's no one in our midfield. It's not up to Lewandowski to take a touch and hold the defender off and draw a foul. It's Lamine. It's our 17-year-old fucking winger. Apart from defensive duties, we rely on Lamine in every aspect of the game. It's bad. It's bad. We can't be doing that because he can't play every game. He won't be able to. And if we need him to, Hansi Flick will. And that could cause him in the next 2-3 years to not be as good as he can be, to not fulfill his potential, like what would happen with Ansu. I refuse to let that happen. We have to figure out a way to play without Lamine, to see games out without Lamine. Frenkie de Jong, I thought should have came on way earlier. To be fair, he came on, did nothing. Well, he came on, made it worse. That's when we considered the 2 goals. But in the first half, I was thinking, why is Frenkie not starting? We need someone. We don't have Lamine, so we're not gonna have as much control of the game. We need someone in midfield, and what Frenkie came on and did in El Clasico, I thought that would have been perfect. Maybe that's a bit. I mean, let's look at the lineup. I don't wanna, because I'm saying all this in retrospect, but in reality, it wasn't actually that bad of a starting 11 when you look at it. Yeah, okay, Lamine is out, so obviously the obvious replacement at right wing is Rafinha. Gavi through the middle, I don't mind. Obviously Casado and Pedri, that's a normal starting midfield too. Daniel out on the left. I thought, to be honest, this is what it did turn into. I thought it was going to be like this from the start, where Daniel would be through the middle, Gavi would be out on the left. That's what it usually would look like. This is what it would have looked like under Xavi at any point. Gavi, if we were missing any wingers because of injury, Gavi would usually fill in on the left, and that's what ended up happening. More so, either Pedri would go or Gavi would go. Daniel ended up being more of a inside forward, like kind of sitting behind Lewandowski, and that's what Dani Olmo really is at his best. Definitely not at left wing. At left wing, he was fucking horrid, and he played there for like 40 minutes in the first half. It was bad. Inigo Martinez and Paco Barci have been perfect this season. Paco Barci not so much, but Inigo Martinez had by far the worst game of the season, by far, and he wasn't. I think Paco Barci was the only one, and Iñaki Peña, to be fair, if you want to count the goalkeeper, were the only ones that had an okay game. Like, not even good, just okay. Because none of the goals were Iñaki Peña's fault, and he did make a couple of saves. Paco Barci didn't really make any big mistakes that I remember thinking, okay, that's all completely his fault. But Koundé. Oh my goodness, Koundé, man. Those 2 goals were just... It's so fucking criminal. Like, you are 2-0 up away from home. You have to close out these 3 points. Like, we need to remember, we're still in November. Like, we had a 9-point lead. Yes, we had a 9-point lead on Madrid after El Clasico, but not in March, not in April. That wasn't the El Clasico that seals the season. That's the early season El Clasico, where there's still a whole fucking year left. Anything can happen. Literally anything can happen. 2-0, you're winning 2-0 away from home. At a ground where we've struggled. Celta Vigo, like, how many times has this happened to us at Celta Vigo? Remember the game again where Ansu got injured? Like, this is literally a cursed ground for us. We went, was it 1-0 up, 2-0 up? They came back and won 3-2. Iago Aspas last minute winner. This is not new. Like, this is like going away to Getafe and just start being careless. You don't do that. You don't fucking do that. And then Koundé, You're 2-0 up. 10 minutes left. What are you doing? What are you doing? You have the ball. Pass it backwards or fucking clear it. Like, why? Why do you take... I know it's a mistake, and I don't blame him. And I wasn't going to go off on him like this just because of the goal, because that can happen to anyone. Fine. Just lock in the rest of the game, make sure we get the 3 points. But he's the one that fucking played him onside for the second goal. Obviously, I can't show it, but when you look at the replay of the second goal, obviously I can't show it, but when you look at the replay of the second goal, Hugo Alvarez, completely offside. If you look at the rest of the back line, completely offside. Everyone plays the offside trap that we usually plays it perfectly. And then it's just Koundé, like a good 3 meters away from everyone else, behind, just playing him onside. He gives away the first goal, and then he plays him onside, plays Hugo Alvarez onside for the second goal. This is not normal from Koundé. He had a bad game against Sociedad before the international break. But before that, it was literally... The game against Zvezda, he was by far the player of the match. Like, not even close. He's had a great season. So, again, I'm not going to overreact. But what was that? Like, genuinely, I haven't seen Koundé do something like that, like, his whole time at Barca. He's usually decent enough with the ball. I can trust him to not make mistakes. I don't know what that was today, man. I genuinely don't know. I don't know what that was. And then going back to the lineup, obviously Gerard Martin, we all know struggled. He should have been sent off in the first half. That whole outrage thing with the Aguas pass that he had to basically be carried off the fucking pitch because he didn't want to stop arguing with the ref. Completely fair. Such a red card. Like, well, not a red card, a second yellow card. Studs up, went in, clear yellow, but he was already on a yellow. He wasn't sent off, and he should have been. We got lucky. And where does this leave the league table? Well, Madrid obviously didn't play their game against Valencia, and they still haven't played this weekend. They play tomorrow, so they're 2 games behind us, and we're 7 points ahead. We still have a decent lead, but remember, they have 2 games in hand. So really, we're only 1 point ahead, because they'll beat Leganes, and I'm guessing they'll beat Valencia as well. So our massive lead that we got from going to the Bernabeu and smacking them 4-0, pretty much gone. It's pretty much gone. All that clowning we did of Madrid, all that clowning we did of Mbappe for not being able to stay on side, all that, nothing. That's all for nothing. Our lead is pretty much gone. We're on 34, they're on 27 points. They win their 2 games in hand, which they should do, very easy opponents, and yeah, now it's back to ground zero. We have to do it all over again with injuries. This is going to keep happening. We're going to go on good runs again, and we're going to keep thinking we're the best team in the world. And we might be. We might be at the time. I think I've been saying it as well. We were the best team in the world. For the first 3-4 months, we were the best team in the world. Right now, we're not. Right? I'm not going to debate who is. Liverpool, maybe. Inter Milan, maybe. I don't know. It's definitely not us. Because we don't. The best team in the world wouldn't lose two games like this back-to-back on the bounce. And I know there was an international break in between, but that doesn't excuse anything. You can't rely on a 17-year-old to control games for you. You can't rely on a 17-year-old. I don't care if it's the best 17-year-old ever, and I've said this before. You have to find other ways to win games, because he's not going to be there every single game. He can't be there every single game, because then he won't be there in 3-4 years. We have to rest him. I don't think he's injured. I just think they don't want to take risks, and that's perfectly fine, because that should have been a game we win anyways. But we can't win without Lamine. We can't, and we have to find a solution. I don't know what it is. Maybe we need to sign someone in January. That's not usually the way Barca fix things. Maybe we give the Fernandes twins debuts in the Copa del Rey in the next couple of months, and they start playing in La Liga and being able to fill some of the holes that Lamine might leave. I don't know. I'm trying to think about this, because I don't want this great start that we've had to just all go to shit because we have a couple of injuries. It's crazy we rely on Lamine like he's fucking Messi and he's only 17. It's not fair on him, but that's what it is. But thanks a lot for watching. Peace, guys.